The woman raises her stick and hits her daughter-in-law, scooping up the hot porridge. Husband steps forward to hold down daughter-in-law. The wife poured the hot porridge into her mouth. With a scream, they kicked the daughter-in-law on the ground. The husband grabbed a fire stick. Why did they do this? To get their daughter-in-law to leave voluntarily. Not long ago, a monk came to the house. The landlord invited the monk into his home. The son tried to stop him, but the father pushed him aside. To everyone's surprise, the aggrieved child wet his trousers. The couple put the blame on each other. Monk saw this scene. With a twinkle in his eye, he had an idea. He said to them, "This child looks like the face of an emperor. He'll be rich and famous in no time." When they heard this, they were not calm. The woman hugged the future emperor and smiled. Seeing that the goal has been achieved, the monk stammered again and told them, although the child has the statue of an emperor, the only regret was that the luck would not last. When the woman heard this, she sat down on the ground, complaining that the world was not fair. The husband, too, was stunned. He asked if there was a way out, but the monk told them, the way to break it doesn't seem difficult. In fact, it's not easy at all. The clever woman took the money from the room and slipped it into the monk's hand with a grin on her face, hoping he'd show them the way. For the sake of fate, the monk told them, as long as his son married 3 times, and he'll have a bright future. The next day, her feet entered the room first. They wanted to drive her away. The defiant daughter-in-law cursed. She picked up her parcel and left the house. They got rid of their first daughter-in-law. The woman was happy. She talked to her husband about her son's next wedding, but her husband was worried. The neighbors spread the news of the girl's expulsion. Who would want to marry their daughter into their family? He thinks of another poor man's daughter, but the woman hated her for being poor and unworthy of their son. The husband reassured her, when the son marries, he'll throw her out. Soon the landlord called the girl. What about her father's debts? The girl wanted to pay it off slowly. The wife accuses her of taking her time. Behind her, the husband made peace, told the girl that if she married his son, not only will all her debts be cancelled, she would be treated like family. Hearing these words, the girl panicked, but there was no other way. She could only agree with them in tears. The next day, the girl served the landlord a meal. The landlord's wife threw the girl a dress, so that the room won't get dirty when it's time to clean. The girl has to dress her 8-year-old husband. The landlord discusses with his wife to get rid of his daughter-in-law as soon as possible, so that he can marry his third daughter-in-law, but he couldn't just drive her away. The landowner suggests that his wife bully the girl. The next day, the woman repeatedly removed the excess rice. She gives it to her daughter-in-law to make dinner. The daughter-in-law whispers that there's not enough rice. The woman retorts angrily, "That's enough rice for 3 people." The girl realized she'll be hungry again tonight. They happily ate the food on the table. The girl was about to eat the rest of the pot roast. The next moment, she was told by the woman to clear the table. While the girl was gone, the woman saw the pot roast on the shelf. She had an idea. While the girl was getting water, she accuses the girl of not feeding her husband. The girl realized the potpourri had disappeared. Then, the woman slapped the girl in the face. Then she kicked over a washed hanger. The son tries to say something. The mother takes the pot roast out of his hand and threw it directly at the girl. Before she could explain, he pushed the girl to the ground to vent his anger. Late at night, the girl came to the forest alone, complaining to the heavens about the unfairness of fate. Tears slipped from the corners of her eyes. At that moment, suddenly smelled a fragrance. Following the scent, she found a date tree. The girl tasted one. It tasted like honey. It was sweet and fragrant. With the help of the date tree, the girl was never hungry again. The man and his wife found out the problem. They don't feed their daughter-in-law every day. Why does she still look so happy? She doesn't look hungry at all. The woman guesses she's cheating on her food. While she was cooking, they secretly checked, but until the food was served. But she didn't see her stealing food. The man had a second thought. He tasted the soup. He complained that it was too salty. The angry woman slammed the bowl on the floor. The girl was terrified. She was about to pick up the pieces. The woman stepped on it. Pain swept through her body in an instant. She couldn't stop bleeding on the floor. The girl was aggrieved. She found a date tree to tell her, as a green date fell in front of her. The next moment, the girl was stunned by the scene. The tree was full of dates in the cold winter. The girl's face was full of disbelief. Looking at everything in front of her, she picked one and tasted it. Then one by one, the jujubes fell into her hand. The girl had only one belief. As long as she could pay off her father's debt. What's the point of all these grievances? Evening. A woman congratulates her husband. The daughter-in-law hasn't come back yet. It seems she has left. They were discussing a third daughter-in-law for their son. Just then, there was a noise at the door. When they opened the door, they realized it was their daughter-in-law. They were discussing how to get rid of her. Tomorrow is their last chance. At night, when the girl was cooking kanji, hungry and tired, she fell asleep on the stove. The woman snuck into the kitchen. She steals the freshly washed dishes. She hides behind the door. The daughter-in-law wakes up and opens the lid. She was about to serve the porridge. She realized the plates were gone. At that moment, the women in the parlor kept urging, and the girl told them why. But they accused the girl of stealing plates. She questioned the girl about stealing food. The girl rushed to explain herself. She even pulls out dates to prove it. The angry woman grabbed a stick. The girl asks them what they said in the first place. How could this happen now? At that moment, the landlord explained to the girl why. She realized she was being used by them. In order not to reveal his secret, the landlord held the girl down. His wife poured hot porridge into her mouth. Then she was kicked by the 2 men. The husband picked up a torch and tried to disfigure her, but the girl grabbed the torch and swung it at them, and then they escaped. She stumbled all the way to the valley. The villagers took her in their arms. The girl told them she hadn't stolen the food. She told them she was stupid to believe the lies of the landlord. She closed her eyes forever with regret. The landlord and his wife found the date tree. If you eat one, they could go without food for a day. They frantically stuffed the dates into their mouths. Suddenly they realized their tongues were rotting. As a bolt of lightning fell from the sky, the three of them were duly punished.